At
We are live.
11:22, we need to come out of executive session where no action was taken. Entertain a motion.
Second.
You got whoever.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make it up. How's that, guys?
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Groats,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay. Back to the agenda. Discuss and act on the deputy wages. Once again, those are the deputy elected official wages. In front of us, we have recommendation from the elected officials. It is obviously up to us to set those for the assessor, attorney. We have two in the attorney's office, clerk. Communications is in district court, and public defender and treasurer.
I do have
Public
to
defender is not
say,
right,
I do have to say with the Nathaniel and Chris, with Gary's revised wages, both of them were not getting a raise. They were gonna keep the same salary.
That's correct.
Okay. So they would be at 44 and then 113.
Current. Okay.
They would be the current.
And wasn't the public defenders half that amount? It was not 65, I didn't think, in the budget, was it?
Well, in the budget, it's a half of half. I think it's 32.5, isn't it?
Right.
Which would be 65.
Half of half.
But he was looking at hiring somebody at the end of the year, like in May.
Right. It wasn't at 32.50, 32.5.
Right. So that would be 65,000, right?
Correct.
What am I missing? What you're saying?
Well, he was planning. He
Oh, to
budgeted
set the
for half
wage
of
for
the
65.
year,
I got you,
But
yeah.
set the wage would be 65.
Correct.
We'd only pay him for half of the year.
I don't know if we're gonna get in the mud on that. I mean, if we set the wage, then he could pay him out.
He could hire him tomorrow. If he has the budget.
So what do we do?
If you don't have the budget, then
Finagle the budget around though too, and then end up being,
short.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
true.
the budget number is 32.5. I would think we'd have to put that in there, would we not?
I agree with you.
I mean, if we do,
Can we strike that? Do we have to set a wage currently if there's not anybody in that
we can
position?
strike it completely, yeah.
That's what I wonder. And then,
And nor has been for the last few years.
And then can you add
And
it
then-
later?
if the budget's there and he wants to come hire somebody, he'd just have to come tell us.
So where would you put it in the budget now?
Well, it's there.
It's still there,
Okay,
32.5.
okay.
I would recommend that we just not set a
Strike
wage
that.
for that.
Okay.
Until he hires somebody.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Will you pull that mic down?
Yeah.
Make sure
Sorry.
people can hear.
Okay, so.
Before we get nitty gritty in here, one thing that we talked about was as we were looking at wages, talking about what might be available. We kind of, at least this is kind of where my mind went. I've talked to some on the board. Okay, maxing out, if somebody's getting a raise, and now I'll put this caveat, there are some that possibly might fall out of this, but in general, the guideline for this year, we've been talking about 3% all across the board is what we told everybody when they were looking at their budgets, try and hit this number. So that, like, a really good, to me, if you've got an employee that you're giving a really good raise to, 3%, it should not exceed that.
Unless
Now,
you change
there-
the duties.
Right, exactly. If you're switching from clerk to manager or something like that, then yes, there's
Change your addition to your
Right,
duties, yes.
exactly. Now, obviously, in some of these where we're catching up or we're changing the duties,
Right.
et cetera, there's going to be some adjustment there, but
We'll
the
bring that up.
general holding that where we're saying the top raise you've got somebody that did a really good job this year, giving that 3%.
And I would echo that, even though we do not have control over the elected officials.
Yep.
And we do set their deputies, we don't set the rest of their wages, that we would request them to look at that also. You know, we can't
Correct.
force it,
No,
but we
but-
would request it, because that's what we're probably gonna implement, there. Okay, so as we go down the list then, the attorneys, deputies and the attorneys will stay the same. Lindsay needs to go up as per statute,
Correct.
and that would be above. Dina Dew was just hired and that's actually, I know that she's the deputy, but it sits under,
Yes.
I guess it's fine here, so it'd stay the same. So then the others that are, have you done the math on the other ones? So we'd strike public defender, because there is none right now. The treasurer, the clerk, we talked about the district court clerk and the assessor.
District court clerk that needs to remain. That's
Needs to
per
come up to-
statute.
Okay,
Be statute,
Okay, that's.
That is statute.
that's why it's the
Treasurer.
same as the clerk.
Correct.
Okay,
Treasurer.
that explains it.
Is it a 2%?
Now, the way you explained it before, it was up to max out at 3, right?
Yes.
Right.
Or just a standard?
That's
You would say
No,
up
I
to
would
max
say
out at 3.
Correct, yep.
That was the idea.
Yeah, just under a 2% is what the treasurer has.
So all these should be fine, striking the,
The assessor.
So there's probably 4.
Yeah, it is an outlier.
Yeah, that's somewhere around a 7%, just over a 7%.
Right, yeah. So that one probably, I mean, that one falls outside of our guideline and is not.
Right.
She falls within, her wage is acceptable under statute. So.
I'm gonna take Gina Dew off of this and put her into communications resolution.
Comments? And this will be the first one. Do we want to hold the line on the 3%?
I think that'd be a good guideline to have unless we're,
Unless
got a
there's a reason.
specific reason why it should be higher.
Change of duties, as Andy said,
change your increase.
Added.
Or added.
added to
This would be-
raise, different job. Because sometimes we add duties to, then we added one to their office. I don't know who needs to handle that, but
So what's the math on that?
Well, if we left it at, if we left it at 3, it'd be 28.96.
What am I doing, Ross? 3%. I come up with 29.12.
Do you have 28.12 to begin with?
That's how-
Times 1.03.
Yeah, that's
Times
right.
1.03, 28.96.
Starting number.
times 1.03.
Yeah, that's right.
Current wage is 1.03.
That's better. Thoughts?
I think that's the way to do it
3%,
because of what we're trying to do.
right? Okay. So
If we were flush with money, I'd say give them whatever they want.
We'll never be flush with money.
I know the answer to that.
So the other one on here is zoning, it should probably, where does that?
Not in
That's not on
deputy,
this
not in
list.
It's
deputy.
not, he's the deputy for
We're just
Yes.
handling it.
Okay.
for
Very
the
good.
attorney.
Got it.
Okay,
So
so it's just the one change.
2896. And then attorney stays same as current year. Clerk goes up because of statute.
Yep.
We're actually gonna drop Dina
Gina
into
due to communications.
to communications, but it'll stay the same there too. Chandra stays the same, drop public defender, and Steiger stays this as recommended.
Correct.
I make that motion.
Okay,
Second,
been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
yes.
Burgess,
Yes,
Rhodes,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. And then I assume that the calculation of the difference will be depleted from the budget then too.
We need to do that, yes.
Next up is discuss and act on adopting resolution for wages for county employees which are set by the commissioners, area of aging, transit, communication, extension, maintenance, roads, veterans, and zoning administrator. These are all separate. We get an updated one on aging. Lori, it seemed to me on aging, on the one sheet I had, we were missing one.
I'm the only one that's.
Not on there, yeah.
But she's on,
She's on 16.
she would be on.
Do we not have of two Barnett or just one?
We just have one Barnett.
Just the one Barnett?
Yep.
Okay,
We have two harders.
I'm sorry.
We have two harders.
Okay,
but
all right.
only one Barnett.
okay. So we're good there. And those are the recommended. Lori, when we did some adjustments, did you look back to that? I had not looked back to that. When did we do those adjustments?
Give me a minute and I can tell you, I hadn't looked, but I can go in and look real quick.
While she's looking that up, do we have other, we have all the recommendations in front of us. Do we have others we want to talk about?
Okay, so this list from that we have on uploaded from Cheryl does not, should have looked over this. There's Paula Rollins.
Does not show what?
It doesn't show, it doesn't show, Lori said there's two Barnetts. It
No,
only
no.
shows-
I said, was there? She said, no, there's not.
No, there's only one.
There's
Two
two
orders.
there are.
Okay.
And harder.
Okay, because that says phase.
That was April 24.
April 24th. Thank you. So on the aging side, this would exceed the 3, but this is the one we're playing catch up on, or recommended to play catch up on. And you can see by the wages there, as compared to the other ones we're looking at, it's probably warranted for that.
Are you looking at the ones I submitted, or are you looking at the number that you had proposed last time, which was just the 4%?
We're looking at the numbers you submitted.
You submitted
You
that.
submitted the first one, 1850 to 1950. That's what we're looking at.
That's what Tracy had.
I didn't say anything, I just said that.
Any questions on aging? Any comments on aging? Okay. Communications,
This one, was topping out above our 3%. So I had made adjustments. We had, I think some were 5, some were 2. And so making those adjustments to 3 and 1 is what I had did.
So you made the one, you lowered some that
Right.
even weren't maxed out?
Correct, to stay equal with what
Okay.
the manager had recommended.
Okay. And in comparison, do you want to go through those? What you have? Or-
Let's see, I had one, so 2564 was recommended to go to 2687, and I had, in my calculations, that would be 2641.
Okay.
$2819 was recommended to go to 2964. By my calculations, that went to 2904.
And that would be still, they still get the bump for the training. Whenever they're training, they still get the training pay.
Right, and I was a little confused on that.
It's when there's somebody in training that they get the
Right.
bump.
And so it'd be 2804 and 2904. Is that the way you read that?
Yeah, she usually gets 27.19 regular pay, but when she does training, then she gets 28.19.
Right.
So her pay actually
So the-
should have gone from 27.19, not 28.19. Does that make
Right.
sense? Because she'll get $1 no matter what.
So if we change this
And then do the percentage.
to, right, could be 2801 and 2901. Based on the formula that I created.
Okay. Is everybody comfortable with that?
Mhm.
So, how do you want me to read these off? Go down the list?
Yep, start it.
2641, 2641, $23, 2323, 2801, 2440, 2494, 2722, 2323.
The very last one is no longer employed with us.
And you said 27 what?
22.
So just touching on one of those, I'd done some math over the weekend too, as we're talking about lowering what's recommended. There's still a 3%, so that's still 77 cents higher an hour. Or right at a normal 40-hour week, 2080 for the year, that's still 1,600 up from the previous year. So it's not like we're cutting, they're still getting raises. It's just not as much as the department had recommended.
Daniel, I'm sorry, but the 2369 goes to
2440.
in the 2421.
2494.
Thank you.
Okay. Extension, we did have one that was up there, but I believe that was one of those that was going to fall into the category of needed. That's the very top one. It needed to go up.
Right, yeah, there was an adjustment that needed to be made there.
So the rest of those would remain the same.
Mhm.
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Maintenance, We have the recommendations there. Questions?
Those are fine.
Fall within limits.
Gotcha, thank you.
Roads,
Roads, we talked with Harvey this morning. We did make some adjustments. Capping that out at that 3%.
Okay.
There were 3 individuals that exceeded that. Currently we have them at a 4% increase. Basically, I used the same formula from the record and capped the raises at a 3%, except for those 3 individuals. What do we feel? Do we want to cap that out? We've capped most everybody else at the 3%, except for those that had additional duties or outliers. All 3 of these had very exceptional reviews, and they do a good job for us.
okay. So you guys comfortable with that then?
Yep.
Because I know that when we get to the department heads, we're gonna have more changing that's gonna be in there too, so I'll take your recommendation on that.
Yeah.
You guys, you wanna go down?
I can read them down, just so everybody is aware, and then I can get with Mary, if these numbers match what everybody feels is acceptable, so that she has these numbers. I don't have to write them all down.
Right.
2590 to 2668, 20,
You might have to go slower.
okay.
Just give her plenty of time.
2035 to 2096, 2075 staying the same at 2075, 2440 to 2513, 21 staying at 21, 2307 to 2353, 2391 to 2463, 2472 to 2546, 2230 to 2275, 3080 to 3142, 2250 to 2318, 2551 to 2628, 2515 to 2565, 2501 to 2473,
2401 to
2401 to 2473.
Okay.
$23.10 to $23.56, 21 to $21.50, $22.50 staying at $22.50, $20 even to $20.80, $29.38 to $29.97, $23.24 to $23.70, $25.54 to $26.05, $25.90 to $26.68, $23.20 to $23.66, 19 staying at 19, $22.30 to $22.97, $21.75, okay, $21.75 to $22.62, $26.26 to $27.05, 2175 to 2262, 2020 to 2081.
Okay. Any questions? Everybody on board? Okay. The veteran? We good with that one?
We had adjusted that to a no change.
Okay.
$20 staying at $20.
Gotcha. And then we got zoning. I guess I would,
We, in the budget, we did give, I think, a 3%. Go ahead.
I would advocate that do change. I know that has not been touched for a lot of years. And that at some point in time, if the attorney's office continues to be as busy as they currently are, and I brought this up during the budgeting, whether the hats he was carrying was too many, whatever. We are undoubtedly, just like when we get to the end of the year and we have to set the wage for the surveyor, we're undoubtedly behind on this one. So I would recommend that we do bump this one to 25. That would be my personal opinion. It's going to be above the 3%, but it's also taken into account that this hasn't been touched for years and years and years. And of course, with the comp plan and everything else going on, I'm sure there's arguments for and against, but that's my opinion. So I'm throwing that one out there.
I would agree a bump is warranted. I'm fine with going up some. 5 might be a jump for me. My first initial thought, we had put the 3%. If we put another 1,000 with that, that'd be 21,600. That's where I started. Thoughts?
I would be more along the lines with Randy at the 25,000. I think the job's changed immensely in a year, and I think it's not going to be anything even getting past the current issues. I think there'll be something new right behind the next door.
Right.
So,
Yeah, there's always going to be something.
It had been 9-10 years since the one before the issue.
It hasn't been touched for before that.
But I mean, the wage hasn't, but there hasn't been an issue.
No, there hadn't been an outlying issue.
Yeah.
Just the job has been the job. It's been in the county attorney's office for a lot of years. There was some conversation when the assessor took over, the new assessor took over, that the perfect spot for it would be down there. But then we're gonna have to, make sure we compensate or do whatever it can be down there. And I think to change it currently would be tough because of what's all involved. It'd be nice to get some of these things, comp plan, zoning done before we do look into any changing. But I know that when we do that, it's gonna, like I say, it's gonna get expensive, so.
So it sounds like what we want to do is something, but my two thoughts are either you give it 25,000 this year and then letting them know there will not be a raise on it next year, or you'd split that in half and do it half this year, half next year. That's if you're looking at numbers, but otherwise I'm all for increasing it.
5,000. That's a 25% increase. To me,
That's easy math there.
I know, right? That's a little. I mean, I agree. I'm fine with jumping it up there. Going right to 25 is a little bit of a jump. I don't know if there's anywhere we can meet in the middle and slow walk it up or not.
If we had to get someone else to do it, what would we have to pay?
It could,
Yeah, it
it could be
depends.
expensive. I mean, a lot of the counties have, that's a shared position, meaning sometimes it's emergency manager and the zoning.
Yeah.
And, so it's compiled into that. It standing alone would probably be 50 or more, just or more, yeah. If it truly was a standalone position, which is tough to be in a county. But yeah, if you compile those, it isn't gonna cut it.
And he's already busy because every time I'm
Yeah.
upstairs, he's in the courtroom or with somebody in his office. It's not like he's sitting around waiting for planning and zoning.
So we're either thinking 25 now or 22,500 this year and then the year after that. Is that what you were
Well,
proposing, Leah?
That was a proposal.
That was just a thought.
Oh, yeah,
one-
yeah, I guess.
Hearing the differences.
One thing that historically we've stated when we've done something like that is making no promises for tying the future boards to
That's true.
something.
So
So
that is fair.
you
So,
can't,
yeah, I guess I
I
was
don't know that we could say 2,500 today and you will get 2,500 in the next budget season, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no, that's fair.
And that person may not be here.
I
didn't
don't
even
necessarily
of
think
that
it's a
one.
good idea either, but yeah.
Mike, you don't know. People's situations change.
I think I'd be in favor of that 25.
So I think so too. It's a good
So,
point.
We're
Don't
just,
tie someone else to it.
we're not talking about all of them. We're just talking about this
Just-
one right now.
Yes.
I'd entertain a motion for the zoning right now.
I
Just-
move to move the zoning administrator's position to 25,000.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
And this is actually a resolution, you guys,
Oh,
Yes.
for the
Setting.
zoning administration. It would be a resolution.
So we're adopting a resolution.
Move to
Okay, does
adopt
he-
a resolution to move zoning administrator $20,000 to $25,000 due to increase in duties.
I will second it again.
Okay, Bowman,
Yes.
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Groats,
no.
and Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, so that one's taken care of. Now we go back to, as we went through all the rest of them. Is there any remaining comments? Or you have all the numbers?
Yes.
If we're good on that, I'd entertain the motion.
Move to adopt resolution changing wages to previously discussed and stated wages for the aging, communications, extension, maintenance, veterans, and zoning administrator, roads,
Do we also have to mention transit or does that just go under? Yeah.
aging into transit.
Thank you for what you said.
Yeah, I was about to say, just on our list it was.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Groats,
Yes.
and Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, on to discuss and act on adopting resolution for the wages of our department heads.
So it's department head, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Can't spell.
So I commend our department heads on trying to treat their employees right in their recommendations. As we've looked at all of the budget and numbers of where we're at. Sometimes it's just not fun to be the manager. And so I believe there's some that we need to discuss, but overall, I believe I would make a recommendation that we leave the manager, the department head wages where they were in the last budget year. It's not necessarily a motion yet, but just a statement.
I'd agree with you, Daniel. There's one thing I would like to point out. Mr. Price is on a verbal contract on his hiring. He's due another $1 once he receives his certification for noxious weeds. He has already received his applicator certificate. That's why it's reflected at 24 currently instead of the 2250 upon hiring. So that would still be in play.
Yeah, it was effective August 17th.
Okay, I did have a conversation, visitors, obviously visitors is one that sits outside the realm of the tax asking. We had thrown around the 3% on that. She has been here for a year for us. And, that was what was recommended, down to us is 3%, 75 cents. That is something that she has modernized that office, so I probably wouldn't stand in the way of that. Somebody that's brought a lot of energy to that office. So that would be the recommendation of 3% on that one. And then the other one that I know that we're behind on a little bit is maintenance. Brian's been with us for a year and 3-4 months now, and he is somebody that through his review I did, he's done a great job for us. I can't tell you how many times that he has been here on a Sunday, unfortunately, with the water pipes leaking and after hours and doing different things like that. So I would recommend that go a buck up. That does go over that 3%. But as I checked with some other maintenance, throughout the area, we're still behind on what others are paying their maintenance people. But that's thrown out for discussion.
I don't know, is there any, anyway, are you okay there or, do you wanna, are you staying at $1 or you wanna go $1.25?
I threw out the dollar as being somebody that did the review on him. I'm sure that he and others would jump in the boat of being with that, but that's where I threw out.
I think $1's good, and it's not far over the 3%. It's not far over at all. So,
25.50 is actually the 3%.
Yeah. He's out $400 that he's on 3%. So those numbers in my head. Didn't have a problem. Okay.
Any other thoughts?
I have no issue with those changes.
Okay. You okay with the buck?
What did you come up with, Alex, at
25.75. It'd be 75 cents, 3%.
the same?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Comments
I would make that motion
Second.
as a resolution?
as a resolution.
Okay.
Again.
Did we just,
What's that?
what do you have now?
Where everybody else will remain the same except for Brian Lewis, maintenance, and visitors promotion, and Ernie Price will be this 24. They'll
That's
go.
what I thought.
Well, he'll go 24, but he'll get his other, we'll
Right.
stick to the agreement when it happens.
Yeah, he's already fulfilled that agreement. It was
No, he-
effective.
Half of it.
He has one more to go.
He's got half of it. That moved to this. He's got another $1 for his last certification.
Oh, gotcha. So
It-
he
it
will
is a
get
multi-step deal.
another,
Whenever that happens.
Whenever it
Okay.
happens. So, it'll probably be November, I think, is what the next survey is for.
okay.
Test.
Yeah. I think
Test.
so.
Okay.
I think it's done.
Motion and a second,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Mary?
Groats,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, there we sit. And then down to the budget workshop. Just like what, so I'm gonna start off that budget. Get things arranged from this here. Gary,
I had to be in court in Seward at 1:00.
okay?
So I just, if you had a specific inquiry for me, if we could talk about that now, otherwise I'd ask if I could be excused.
Yeah, I don't think we do. The last number,
I didn't see that one. I'm sure it's okay, but.
whatever it was, 530, 531.
It was, I think it was five, it was exactly what you suggested.
It was.
No, we should be good.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck
Thank you,
in Seward.
thank you.
Don't say anything, you're gonna take it as a deputization.
Thank you.
Don't let him.
Don't care.
Okay, so some of the last information that we had, we've got our percentage of growth this year on top of our 2% increase, gets us to a 4.39 allowable growth. And that figure gets us close to where we need to be. We need to cut 188,000 or add revenue of some form of 188,000 to, if we wanted to avoid a postcard bill. Through some of the actions we took today with the lowering of the wages, it's gonna achieve some of that to begin with. I want to start off by saying that this would have been great to have, as John was here earlier. Our inheritance fund, and the last numbers I had was August 25th, 2025. We had $5,043,158 in there. We do have commitments out of that inheritance fund of Glenwood for the fiber project. We have 200,000, and we have fire sprinkler, roughly 300,000. So we have $500,000 committed out of that. Through this budget that we're looking at, we're talking about 690,000 being committed to expenditures out of the roads department, 380 for the grader, 250 for truck and trailer, 60 for generator. Cash reserve of 500,000 moving from inheritance to a cash reserve on the 100 side, the general fund. And then something that Daniel and myself talked about briefly over the weekend was possibly an additional 55,000, bringing that money for the sheriff's car out of inheritance over to the 100. Leaving it in their budget, but in a sense paying for it out of inheritance. That is an expenditure of 1.745 million. If we get in our average revenue over the last several years of 750,000, that'll, at the end of the year, will put our inheritance just over $4 million, paying for everything up front. Having the motor grader and everything and the commitments we have. So bear that in mind where our inheritance fund sits. Now, there has been times that it's been much more than that, but it's averaged about 750,000 over the years.
So I want to say it out loud. We're gonna use 1.5 and we normally take in 7 or.
Commitment wise, we're committed for 500 right now.
Yeah.
There's an additional 690, 55, and then the cash reserve, we've been moving money from inheritance, and currently we have 1.25 moved over to the 100 fund as a cash reserve. We would bolster that by another $500,000 up to 175 with inheritance money. That's what's kind of being proposed right now in the budget. So if we look at that 55,000 for the sheriff's car coming from tax asking, a possible savings of, Daniel did some rough math.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but yeah.
And I did a little bit, and it was just on the wages. It wasn't on FICA and everything like that. We feel pretty comfortable that there could be 50 to 60,000 probably savings in wages, and then all of a sudden it's looking like we're less than 100,000 from avoiding a postcard, which would be our recommendation, that the reserve money just get lowered by that much. And then we use part of that reserve money, instead of going towards reserve, say we have 400,000 goes towards the reserve and 100,000 to, in a sense, buy down.
Yes, under that
Yes.
percentage.
So we're using the inheritance fund for more than just one-time purchases. like the fire sprinkler for
It's
the
still
fiber optic.
technically a buyout.
It is, but it is also using funds that we're collecting and to help keep property taxes down. Now, does that do anything for us in the next year? Not necessarily, but we're not using a ton of it either.
Right. And
The last time that we did that, I think we used like a million.
Yeah.
Or more.
We use quite a bit, yeah. I
And
don't
so-
remember the number.
Yeah, it was, the number in my mind was 1.2. I'm not sure if it was quite that much, but it was a big number. And that was what really got us into a pickle.
Yeah.
100,000,
You couldn't do
Okay.
that.
That's what
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
asking.
exactly. What's the
That's
number we're
that's the
comfortable with
reason
for
I
that?
was asking.
Because if it's really,
It's the reason I
that
was
low,
asking.
that's relative, obviously, but,
Right. And two comments that Randy had made, like, I don't know that we want to do that just simply to avoid the pink postcard meeting.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
if that's the only reason we're using it, it's probably a wrong reason to do it. Because we can have that meeting, we can get the public's input. But if we're doing it because we want to keep our inheritance, or our property tax ask at a certain level,
Yeah.
then it makes more sense. Is it splitting hairs? Maybe a little bit, but I think that we need to talk through why we're using that money, and make sure that we're using it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Going back to the inheritance, the ending balance of 4 million is a number, like, if you told me that we were gonna have an ending balance of 2 million, I might shake in my boots a little bit. It's kind of nice to have that there, not knowing what's gonna happen with it. And so the 4 million, I think I'm comfortable with.
I guess the real question is, what does it look like next year then? Like, how do we not do this again, essentially? But
Some of it is, talking about the budget next meeting. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, not waiting until,
Well, we won't be
July.
talking about zoning, so we can talk about it.
talk about what we want.
There are some actions that need to take place throughout the year and these are just ideas that have to be thrown out, to look and see if are we as efficient as we can be.
Yep.
And we
Instead of
really
just
have to
jamming
look
it
at,
the last part.
yeah, instead of just saying, okay, May, this is what we want to see, we need to come up with some plans prior to May to say, this is what we're talking about. And I think those conversations happen in department head meetings, no doubt to begin with.
Yep.
But
Yep.
have some firmness behind them too, to say, this is what, if we
Have your
can't
goals set.
find this money, we're gonna find it. We're gonna make some corrections. That does take, and by my calculations, we're currently at 7.61%. That does agree with Jill's calculations. If we do use just the 188,000, we get down to 4.99% increase over last year's action, or over last year's
For the total,
total ask.
total ask on general. You know, the bond is the bond and the ambulance is the
Yeah.
ambulance. So on general, we were allowed a 4.39% growth this year because we had 2% standard, 2.39 in addition to that. So, and then plus in this budget figures, we're maximizing what we can carry over this year to next year. Whereas this year, the carryover, as far as the state gave us, unused budget authority was 113,417. And this would be able to allow us to carry over unused budget authority of 461,832,
Okay.
which is a much better position
yeah.
putting us forward into next year
Yeah,
than we actually were this year. Which is, we feel comfortable about doing that, in this new system that we have to deal with. And I like that
That
number.
was kind of my question earlier.
Now, that's just budget authority.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we have to spend it, but it allows us that
Gives us the
extra
option if we
authority.
need to.
So that's a lot being thrown out. Is everybody, I mean, like the idea with the sheriff's car,
Yes.
give it
Yeah.
that, give that was Daniel's. You know, we're buying motor graders, and why not use that inheritance to help out?
That's what we've been doing with most of the vehicles, so I don't see why not, really.
And they're using their federal forfeiture money, drug money, to buy the other two. And why not? Once again, while they have that surplus of cash, why not use it to now someday when we run out of all this, I don't know if we're going to be driving junkers up down the road or the taxpayers, but that's down the road too. So, and we do have, once again, it isn't just about this, but we do have till the 4th to notify the assessor whether we'll be part of that postcard hearing or not, which is Thursday.
2
So
days.
we'd have to do a little calculating.
It's 2 days.
Comments? Did anybody else find anything else in the budgets?
Not as many as you. I just looked at them when you sent them. Are you serious?
I guess mainly what I found is things that we can work towards on the next budget cycle.
Correct.
Yeah,
Not
that's
hard fixes for this budget.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, and I think I think we're all in agreement that the next budget isn't a 2026 issue. It's something we have to start having those conversations.
25 and 26, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I did do some extra math, and where we get caught is we either look at budget to budget or what was actual, and we will, when we look at some of these actuals, and this would be without, putting Mary too
I know.
on
Not
it,
one of them.
but when we look at what you budgeted and, 3% increase for your employees, and if you wanted that extra employee, what you budgeted only really leaves you $26,000 for another employee. And is that realistic? Probably isn't, in today's dollaring. The other one I looked at was, the assessors and budgeted to actual, there's actually, when we look at 3% raises, there's actually an additional over $10,000 in budgeted wages that when we look at what we actually spent last year and give them a 3% raise, there's $10,000 extra dollars budgeted in there. Is that addressable? I think it is, to say, why is that? Why are there that extra wages in there if you really don't need them?
Yeah, there was a lot of that when I went through and sent out that email to you guys, with the difference between the actual and some of them, yeah, as you said.
I mean, time for some of this stuff is the reason.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Channel left.
But wages should be something that is very predictable. We just set everybody's wages.
Right.
You know that you're working a 40-hour, or in some cases 37 and a half hour.
Time.
I mean,
Or
those
even
should be
20.
down to the cents, really. There shouldn't be that need for that extra in there. And I think that's a place there too.
If you're fully staffed.
Yeah, those are the questions that have to happen. Yeah.
Well, to answer your question there, that is a part-time person.
Right.
That's not a full-time person.
That was one of the things I brought up, is the start wage. When
Mhm.
you first brought it, I was like, part-time should be much different than full-time. It just is.
So, that's why I brought my calculator. Me and him been
So-
friends all weekend.
Like I did at home.
So, we need to go through and recalculate the wages on the ones that we can control.
Yes,
I don't know, not to pick on him, but the assessor, I mean, if there's some in his wages line, now again, gray area where how nitpicky can we be on their line items? But based on what we said as deputy salary, there's quite a bit of money there that could be clawed
Yes.
back. And so while he, there he is. While his total bottom is within that 3%, is that one that we won't, do we get nitpicky on those line items for those deputies that we sat? And look at that closer, do we just say, we're gonna
And will
dig into that deeper next year, or
his FICA and
it'll be adjusted as well?
retirement
Those
be
will have to be
adjusted as well?
All adjusted.
Yeah, and that's a calculation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know if we adjusted the wage for Tammy.
Why?
Because we topped everybody out at 3%. Unless there was a, outlying,
Increase of.
and so that wage then in your line, that's what we're discussing right now.
Okay. I mean, I budgeted for that increase and I was below what the board had asked us to stay below, and I did that.
Right, correct, yep. Right, and
What
so
was the
that's
three-
where
what was- What was the 3% based on?
we had talked about 3% across the board. That was the number that had been brought up earlier, way back when, hey, let's try and meet that 3%. So when we were talking about wages, that was thrown out there, and it was kind of a board decision that we would max out the 3% unless there was
Added on duties.
new duties or extenuating circumstances as to why they would get more than that. I think Tammy was slated for $2.25, which was above what most everybody else was getting. So.
Well, and keep in mind too, the deputy assessor has to be certified
Sure.
assessor
Mhm.
to take that job as well. And I don't know of any other deputy positions outside of county attorney that would require extra certification or continuing education standards
Sure.
that the other deputy positions do. And so I felt, based on the workload we had this year, and you guys know what that workload was like, because you sat here and dealt with a lot of that, all of it as well. I felt that it was justifiable to have her salary increase to that. I guess I'm a little disheartened and all that, so that you chose to go that route.
Sure. I don't know, I guess you could have been here and gave that speech earlier. I don't know that it would have changed our mind, but
I think it was just the fact of the 3%, Kurt. I know that that's a recommendation, and you know it as well as we do, because you sat up here. It's up to us to try to make it fit. And I know she has the certification, but there's other deputies that take over for when their people are gone and different things like that. So we just were trying to draw a line, and we would ask, actually, as we did earlier, that not only the way we set the deputies, that all elected officials would look at that 3% and use that 3% as a guide. Just because we're trying to keep things under control.
I understand.
I mean, you sat here
before.
through the whole thing. I know we wasn't talking about taxes, but we were talking about values, but now we're talking about taxes, so.
How long has she been the deputy assessor?
She was certified, she got her certification before I took over the assessor's office, just shortly before that. So August of 22.
Did they raise her wage accordingly then?
to a
Since she took over extra, okay.
So,
I don't agree with it, just for what it's worth. Wouldn't be me if I wasn't sharing my opinion.
That's okay.
Thank you.
So yes, there would be that adjustment there, like there would with everything, that we should be able to adjust that down.
What?
I said, I'm glad he came in so you understand where we're coming from, and take it
Yeah.
back to his people.
I
Okay,
didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. Yeah, that's a good point.
we will need to do some calculations. Jill is, to my knowledge, is listening, unless she had to go to a meeting or something else that's lasted longer than maybe what she expected. So we'll have to be in communication with Jill as we push things forward. And once again, with that deadline of the 4th, are we comfortable with what we talked about today? We
Oh,
won't know the exact number
yeah.
that
what
that the cash reserve gets lessened, but are we comfortable with that scenario?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Do we want to set like a maximum number we'd be comfortable with, or does anyone keep like, is it
And
in a
that's-
range that you're comfortable with? Because, yeah.
Right, that's where I was.
You two have to tell us.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel comfortable up to $250,000 because I think if we know that that's the number, there is enough stuff to look at and work through to get that number down for next year. So I don't foresee it being something that we're gonna go back to the well every year on this. I mean, heck, if we had to go back to the well for 100,000 every year, I'd be cool with that. Now, does that mean we shouldn't look to rectify that? No.
No.
It wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't, but, I mean, for where we sit right now, yes, I'm good.
Would everybody be comfortable with saying then and taking that in? Because I don't even think we need the 100,000, but if we had the reserve lowered to 4, not 5, and use 100,000, because then that, by the time we look at the 55 for the car and the savings,
Yep.
and then the extra 100,000,
Yep.
we should be
Mhm.
more than, by the time we calculate it all out.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So lower the
Um,
reserve to 400,000.
Lower the reserve from 500 to 400 and use that extra 100
Cover the.
to offset.
Mhm.
Now, do we want to, if it comes in and we're 20,000 over,
To at least let them know.
yeah, I think we're fine with the 100. I really do. But do we need to
Just
give
in case.
ourselves a little,
I think we could at least give ourselves a $50,000 cushion over that 100,000.
so our plan is 100. If we have to go to 150,
We can.
we're okay.
And we just keep playing with that reserve number. So
Correct.
the reserve number goes down,
Yep.
the more we need.
Correct.
Just reserve, yep.
Yeah,
And adjust the
Yes, I'd be okay with
reserve
that.
accordingly. Okay.
Now, before we have never formalized what we were doing with all of our budget request people.
I make a motion that all of our formal budget requests that come out of the inheritance tax line be left the same as previous years. As last year, not previous years, as last year.
So you're talking CASA,
CASA,
Blue
Blue
Valley,
Valley.
Is that both Blue Valleys?
except for Henderson,
Except we already took
already
action on
took
that.
action.
The remaining.
The remaining.
the remaining,
Yeah.
okay. This has to be a resolution, shouldn't it be?
Yes. I think so.
No.
'Cause it's just budget numbers.
Just
It's
budget, yeah.
Making a motion to
Okay,
adjust the budget numbers, and then when we
Pass
approve the budget,
yeah, that's
we're
the-
actually,
then
Do it.
that's, okay. So
That's the
this
big
does
one.
not have to be a resolution.
you can second that.
I'll second it.
Let's leaving them all the same. Okay. Got a motion and a second to leave all the funds that have come out of inheritance for the above mentioned CASA and all that remain the same as last year's funding.
That's what I
York,
seconded.
Adopt a Pet, all
Yep,
of
all of those. York Library.
library.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mary?
YCDC and
YCDC.
Southeast Development District,
Yeah,
they
also
stay the
same.
same, so.
YCDC will stay the same as last year as well.
Everybody.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah, that whole
Okay.
group of them.
Roll call, Mary.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, so now we're just down to, we got discuss and act on finalizing decisions on the budget. So then let's go ahead and make a motion to put forward the information today that has been written down with the wages and all that into the budget. And then that way, Mary, and we can get some calculations done and see where we sit.
And that'll include making the correct adjustments based on wages, et cetera.
On the FICA
Yep.
retirement wages.
Yep.
Right.
Moving the inheritance for cash reserve,
Yes, all of it.
adjust that.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to push forward the numbers that were discussed today. Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Mary.
Groats,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, last thing, committee reports. What did everybody do?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
The budget a time or two or seven. Roads department meetings. That kind of took up all my time, I guess.
That's from Jill. The last big buy down was 22-23, 1.25.
Okay.
We did have close to 8 million in the inheritance tax fund at that time, but
So,
I still wouldn't recommend using that much.
But some of the things that are being used this time is a one-time thing.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
not substituting.
Joe, do you got anything?
yeah, I went to Blue Valley Community Action. Met down in, is it Geneva? Yes. And we talked about bylaws changes to be fitting with the state stuff with sick leave and all that, paid sick leave. And then we got a bunch of budget presentations. And they're building childcare centers around the area and stuff, not in York right now, but for Head Start and the different programs like that. So a couple of playgrounds, they're building all that. So that's kind of it. It wasn't a super complicated meeting.
Okay. Anything else?
That was the only committee I had yet.
Okay. Got anything other than what you
We kind of,
giving you heartburn?
yeah, killed the roads thing. Do have a safety meeting this week this week. No, it's on the 10th, it's next week, so got that and what else?
You went to a meeting at Wendy's.
Oh yeah, we had a veterans meeting at Wendy's 2 weeks ago, it was at State Fair last week. I think that's it. It's been a busy 2 weeks.
The veterans meeting, mostly what Nick mentioned was how complicated things are now to get done with veterans because of what the state and the federal are doing to the veterans offices and that type of thing, so he can figure out how to make sure. One of his biggest things was being able to not have to pay road tax on one vehicle for the
household.
veterans, so they can take one vehicle and not have to pay that. So there's a little less income we're gonna get. Anyways,
I thought he said that was gonna be reimbursed to the county from the state, though. did he
oh, that
not?
could be, but the yeah, his biggest deal was trying to make sure all the veterans knew it when it became available, so. Anyways, and then, worked with Lori on some of that stuff that you were talking about and wages and stuff and discussing, who to look at and how to do it. And trying to get her not to feel bad about having to raise a rate on people who could pay a little extra because of how long it had been since they raised some rates. And I'm like, you're not charging them anything still, so don't feel bad about that. You're replacing income. And then Region 5, I've been to 3 meetings. It looks like I have one on the 5th, on the 8th, on the 18th again. For the ones right now, it is $650,000 of opioid money that they can use if it's warranted for the correct uses. I'm quite well educated on what you can and cannot use opioid money for now. So Gary and I had a little discussion on one of our breaks here, and I told him I'm getting you those 2 pieces of paper and you figure out how to ask for something you can set up, because we do have some opioid money
We do.
for those programs that he has going on, because rural, youth, diversion are 3 of the big things that money's to be used for. So, and on a good note, I don't know if they're gonna get money or not, but they're still on the good list. They got 28 applications, and Four Corners is still in the running to get part of that $650,000. So there's like 6 or 8, and then they want to use up all the money. So then there's 4 or 5 others that they want to possibly give money to once they've decided how much to give these, and they're in the good group so far. So that's good. Laura and Dr. Hodeby wrote up a really good application for that. And the asking was huge. They've only had up to 12 applications before, and they had 28. And I explained to them, federal money's going away, state money's going away, grant money is going away. I don't understand that, but grant money is going away from all these organizations. So they're scrambling to find money to keep programs going. Blue Valley Mental Health is one of them. So that's it.
I guess there's one more thing I could mention. School started and I got physics lecture in 25, hour 25?
Oh, boy.
That sounds really nice.
Electrostatic forces and Coulomb's law.
Daniel. Got anything?
Nothing more to.
Budget. Good. That's all I did. Budget, meet with some employees. So we'll have plenty more over the next week or so. We'll have to make sure Jill wants a phone call now. And so we'll have to make sure. So anything else, gentlemen?
All right, I'm gonna turn the live stream off, but I think it's a success. We had 20 viewers for most of the meeting.
Yes. When the owl goes off, we'll know we're off.
Yeah, when the lights.
End stream.
And now it goes on.